Hi, I'm Gene Principe, and you are listening to Coffee in the Park with Jennifer and Ken.
Jennifer, it's 100 degrees outside today, and summer's coming to a close.
It's finally summer in beautiful downtown Acheson, Cam.
That's right. And just on that note, we want everybody to know that we are coming to you live from the Wall Coffee Roasters in beautiful downtown Acheson. That's right. So if you hear some noise in the background, some coffee machines whirring, people talking, stuff like that, it's because, hey, we're live at the coffee shop.
We are in the coffee shop, and it is a great day to try a cold beverage at the Wall Coffee Roasters.
I am having, Jennifer, just for the record, I am having a mint iced tea.
I know.
It is refreshing.
It is very refreshing.
Extremely refreshing. And so, hey, if you're in the neighborhood, I don't know why you'd be in the neighborhood in Acheson, but if you are in the neighborhood, and come on by. And if you're not in the neighborhood, just come to the Wall Coffee Roasters.
And grab a cold beverage on this beautiful last hot week of summer.
Can you believe it? Summer's almost over. I can't believe it.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it either.
Kids,
has your son, he hasn't gone back to school yet?
No, he goes back to school next week.
Next week,
yes.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, everybody, we want to tell you that this is a very special episode of Coffee in the Park. Because...
Cam, it's I will call it our inaugural edition.
I like that. Inaugural.
Of the new format.
That's right. So it's our new format. This is now Coffee in the Park with Jennifer and Cam.
That's right.
That's you and me.
That's us.
You're Jennifer, I'm Cam.
Well, I hope so.
This is unbelievable. I'm so excited about this.
And, Cam, why did we make this switch?
You know why, Jennifer? Because we want to tell more stories. We want to tell not just business stories, but stories of people who just have done not only incredible things in their lives, but have lived incredible stories in their lives. And we want to tell those stories.
And Cam, we've got some amazing stories upcoming.
Yes, we do. And I'm really excited about that. So if you're listening to us and going, but I like the old one better, don't worry. It's going to be the same, just better. We're still going to have episodes like our famous pet peeve episode.
Of course.
No, I've been collecting pet peeves. I have a list of pet peeves. I'm ready for episode number 2 of pet peeves.
Episode number 1 was very popular.
I know. We're going to do a Thanksgiving episode. Last year, we taste tested pumpkin pie. This year, I don't know what we'll taste test.
Maybe we'll roast some turkeys.
Stuffing. We should taste test stuffing.
We'll talk about that.
Okay, we'll talk about that. And we'll do our Christmas episode.
Of course.
I'm really excited. But this is just amazing. I'm so excited. And we want to remind everybody that today, this episode is brought to you by...
Wing Snob.
Wing Snob. If you have never been to a Wing Snob, you need to go to Wing Snob. Wing Snob makes the best wings in the entire...
Do you know why?
Why?
Because they are fresh, never frozen wings,
Fresh, never frozen. That's right. Wing Snob has 19 flavors. My goal is to try every one of them. I've tried about 7 of them. It's absolutely amazing.
What's your favorite so far?
My favorite so far, I'm going to say, is Parmesan.
Oh, I like the dill pickle.
You love dill pickle.
I love
Parmesan, but we got to try them. They're amazing. So, hey, if you've never been to a Wing Snob, they have 19 flavors of wings, actually 16 and 4 rubs. It's amazing. They have cornbread, and their Parmesan fries are to die for. I love those Parmesan fries.
They're delicious.
Jennifer, they're amazing.
10 locations in Edmonton area.
That's right. Wing Snob, never frozen, always fresh.
Yes.
If you need to know,
you go find a snob near you.
Find a snob near you by going to www.wingsnob.ca. Not com, ca. www.wingsnob.com. 10 locations in the city of Edmonton.
Not com.
No, ca, not com. Not com. I got to remember that. Anyway, 10 locations in the city of Edmonton. Check it out today. If you're hungry, you don't know what to make for dinner, take the kids down to Wing Snob. It's awesome. I love it.
It is. Cam and I want to give another quick shout out.
Yes.
To our friends over at M-Print. Sign and Print Solutions.
That's right, here in Acheson.
Downtown Acheson.
Well, they're kind of in a suburb of downtown Acheson.
Well, that's okay.
They're in another part of Acheson, but they're in Acheson.
Yes.
So M-Print, amazing printers, do amazing work. Some of the most incredible printing work I've ever seen. They are the official printer of Coffee in the Park.
They are. They have just printed some very cool merchandise for us. So
they really
stay
have.
tuned.
I'm excited about it. I can hardly wait. Our new mugs are coming. Our new business cards are coming. And I'm very excited about all of it. So whatever your printing need is, brochures, business cards, they wrap giant vehicles.
They even wrapped a helicopter, which was so cool.
Did?
Yes.
I didn't know that. That's incredible. So, hey, whatever you need printed or wrapped. They even just wrapped something at the University of Alberta inside one of the big rotunda areas.
I know.
Unbelievable.
Amazing. Unique solutions, and they will work with you to find what works best.
Absolutely. Jan and Don, they do amazing work, whether you're nonprofit or business. They're there to help you with all your printing needs. Give them a call. Go to their website,
Mprint, not N, but M as in Mary.
That's right.
No, see, you're .ca.
The CA and the com thing's driving me crazy.
I know.
Can we not just get all on the same page? Okay, www.mprint.ca for all your printing needs. Go to them. Right. Sorry, Jan and Don. We love you guys. You're awesome. Anyway, go check them out. They're really cool. I'm excited about today, the inaugural edition. Here we go.
Inaugural edition. Are we ready to kick it off?
Oh, let's do it.
Okay. Cam, hold on to your seat.
I literally am.
Our guest today is a broadcast personality. He's host of the Edmonton Oilers Broadcast on Sportsnet, and, quite frankly, Cam, an Edmonton legend.
That's right. An icon.
Mr. Gene Principe.
Gene,
hey,
welcome.
Thank you.
To the podcast.
Yeah, wonderful listening to you introduce the show. And myself, in honor of Coffee in the Park, my apologies. I was a little latte.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay?
Yeah, a little latte. It started already.
The season is around the corner, so I'm starting to warm up.
We also should mention that Gene has brought with him a very special guest.
Yes.
A very special guest.
A very special guest who was a podcast guest of ours as well.
I know. I was thinking this morning, she's an alumni. She's a podcast
Karen,
alumni.
You're a podcast alumni.
That's right. Karen, welcome.
Principe.
We'll hear you in there if you say hi to everybody.
Good morning. Hi, everyone.
Right on. And Karen is running. She is in the throes. We are in the throes of municipal elections here in the province of Alberta, where we record. And she is in the throws of running again.
And we're going to get into that.
Yeah, we will, because we want her to win. Anyway, Gene, good to have you.
Yeah, great. Fantastic. Wonderful location. I tell you, in speaking of Acheson, you make it go like, is it somewhere near New York? You make Acheson sound like it is this unbelievable place, which it is, but I love the way you build it up to be even something that would make people want to get out here, experience it, drive around and see what's out in Acheson.
Well, full disclosure, when we tell people we're in beautiful downtown Acheson, we had a listener who lived out of town, whose daughter lived here in Edmonton somewhere, and she came to visit, and the first thing she said is, "Can you take me to beautiful downtown Acheson?" So they drove her around out here, and she goes, "That's it?"
That's it, yeah. Well, yeah, but I love the hype. I
the
mean,
legend lives on.
I thought it was a great introduction, and congratulations on your inaugural show, Coffee in the Park. I'm very privileged to be your first guest under this title, and the fact that you are telling stories about people who aren't necessarily involved in downtown beautiful Acheson.
Well, we're so honored to have you, so it's really amazing. So let's kind of get into it, and let's start from the beginning.
All right, literally from the beginning.
Yeah.
Gene, I believe that I read that you grew up in Edmonton.
Yeah. I'm an Edmonton guy, born and raised. Initially, we lived, I would say, about a mile or so from the old Northlands Coliseum. I grew up kind of in that area.
Okay.
Very heavy immigrant-laden area, lots of Germans and Portuguese and Italians and people that came over and were looking for a better life. And then so many Italians, which I am, moved out to the north side of Edmonton, Castle Downs, and I moved out there in grade 11. And I've been a north side guy, excluding an 11-year window where I was beginning my career and traveling around. Meeting my eventual wife in Winnipeg. I worked in Grande Prairie and Lethbridge and Kamloops, Toronto, and then in the summer of 1998 moved back to Edmonton. So I really am an Edmonton guy. It's amazing sometimes when people will see you and they just go, "Oh, I didn't know you lived here."
Right.
But yeah, I lived
you're
here.
An Oiler fan all your life?
Yeah, you know what? I remember when they won their first Stanley Cup. I was 17.
Me too. Yeah.
And back then they didn't have watch parties with thousands of people.
No, they didn't, did they?
You might have a watch party with 8 or 10 people.
That's right.
I'm not even sure back then that the bars used to really...
Right.
I wasn't of bar age, but it really was something that you watched with your family and maybe a few friends at home.
Yeah, everybody was in the living room.
Yeah, and then you would after a victory sort of spill out into the streets wherever you lived. And back then it was Jasper Avenue that was sort of the spot that you would go and high-five people and just celebrate as a community and as a group.
It was amazing, wasn't it? I mean, for me, I think I've told this story before. I was there. I lived in Edmonton. I was there when we won our first Stanley Cup. I had just bought a brand new Firebird, a red Firebird. And the night the Oilers won the Stanley Cup, there was everyone, you're right, spilled out into the street. And some guys who probably had maybe a beer too many took some spray paint and spray painted my Firebird.
Oh, what did they spray paint? Anything?
I don't think they were quite cognitive enough at the moment to do anything. And so, but the beauty was we caught it right away. My mom, my little precious mom, caught it right away and got a rag out and started wiping, and we got it all off.
Oh,
but that was my first
God bless your mom.
Stanley Cup when the night we won, that was my first. So you're right. It was very different. It was very different.
It was, the idea of, I guess, watch parties and thousands of people gathering shoulder to shoulder, sometimes standing the entire game with limited access to many things, but people have really grown to love that in Edmonton. I do see it elsewhere, but I think the way Edmonton was built, the rink and the ice district is honestly phenomenal. I've been to every NHL rink and other stadiums. I will say that in the U.S., particularly college and NFL, the football, the tailgating is a mess.
It is. It's very different.
Different culture.
But that's you're talking 8 times a year.
Yes.
Right.
So what Edmonton has truly is special, and that's both inside Rogers Place and then outside.
So we've heard it said, and you can maybe confirm this for us, that Edmonton is considered to be one of the, what's the word, the best hockey towns. Like the fans are just, there's no other city in the NHL that has fans like Edmonton does.
I would agree with you. It's always hard to distinguish who's the best. Right. Who's the best. But if you are looking at the best and you watch, one of the great things about the playoffs, I think, is you have people all over the world watching. And they see these drone or aerial shots. First of all, the city's really starting to look beautiful.
It
is. Particularly in May and June.
Downtown's changing.
Right.
A lot.
And then
thanks to people like your wife.
Yes, that are really pushing what a downtown should be.
Yeah, exactly.
For those that may or may not remember, it used to be, I think, the railway went through.
Yes.
That's right.
It was just
right downtown.
It was just kind of empty land,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
And to have that kind of vision that Mr. Cates had, and then to have all the support of the city, the province, and the people to get that done. I mean, this is a lasting legacy that will forever be here. And luckily, at the same time, we happened to come upon this young boy named Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, who have given us all kinds of reasons to want to get down there.
But it all started way back with the Gretz.
Yeah,
the
for
great
sure.
Gretz, right? That, when you and I were at 17, 18, were the great Gretz.
Yeah,
that was it.
I mean, my wife's right beside me as we record this, but when I'm at events, sometimes people say, what's sort of been, one of the great highlights of your life? And I'm like, getting Wayne Gretzky's phone number. I mean, I mean, having Wayne Gretzky in your Rolodex.
Yeah.
You have it?
I had dinner with him.
Oh, see? Yeah,
I got
kind of moment with
just
him.
me and Gretz and a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Gretz. Like, I've had dinner with him once. I know. Like me and Gretz. We talk every never, but me and Gretz.
He's just, it's amazing because some people got a chance to watch him.
Yeah.
Some people have just watched him, highlights or YouTube or old games on Sportsnet or Hockey Night in Canada. To meet him and get to know him and to hear him tell stories and to hear him say, it was funny. Karen will remember I had my 50th birthday party 8 years ago, and you're trying to decide who to invite and who not to invite. So I decided at that time Wayne was working with the Oilers as a VP, and so I kind of invited not the players, but I invited the equipment staff, the coaching staff, the general manager, of course Wayne. And Wayne couldn't make it. But for probably a year or so, he'd say, "Hey, how's that birthday party?" or "Happy birthday." And I thought, this is so amazing that Wayne is referencing my birthday party.
Amazing,
So, and he's been nothing but kind and supportive. And when we get into the playoffs, He'll often say, "Hey, when you need me, let me know for an interview." And
a true gentleman, eh?
Yeah,
true
really
gentleman.
great guy. You know, of course, his unbelievable statistics have led us to call him the Great One. But he really is a great one. Yeah. Away from the rink as well.
Next time you see him, say hi from Cam.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll remember.
Sure, he'll totally remember.
If we had time, I'd tell that whole story. He might remember a little snippet of that, but other than that. All right, so this is amazing. So you grew up, you watched the Oilers. Did you play hockey?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I was a seventh defenseman playing house league hockey.
Okay,
I wasn't, nowadays or even back then, you'd say I was an average, maybe below average skater.
Right.
I always thought I was a better ball hockey player because you didn't need to skate.
That's
you
right.
just
I
run.
agree, yeah.
And I played defense. When I was 16, I graduated into, kind of all the hitting, and I was quite a small guy. I was only about 5'3" or 4" and maybe 130 pounds, and it got to be a bit too much, and so I quit. Not that I had any aspirations that I was going anywhere, but I played hockey. I remember some of my greatest memories were going to an outdoor rink in Edmonton where I lived, and skating Saturdays and Sundays. Just going to skate, and when it was cold, you'd go into the shell or the little dressing room and warm up, and I loved hockey,
shell. I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I haven't heard that word.
Shells,
that's right.
It wasn't really an indoor arena. It was
I grew up in
shell.
Westmount, and we had the outdoor rink and the shell.
Yeah.
And I played hockey on Saturday, and you're right, you go into the shell to warm up.
Yeah, and warm up, and so I loved the game. I always enjoyed it.
There.
But I just wasn't very good at it. But I would say to anybody who plays any sport, you don't have to be good at it to enjoy it. Right? It's important to remember that, as sometimes it's such a push to be
today.
good or be successful.
Yes.
It's okay to not be good, but still have a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we're going to talk. Actually, I think
we
talk
are
about that in a few minutes
because
we know you're involved in something there. But
I have a question.
Yeah.
So the whole broadcasting thing, Gene, and going into that. Is that something you wanted to do kind of growing up, or was that as you got older thinking, this might be a really interesting career path for me?
You know what? I grew up wanting to be a professional soccer player. I wanted to play for Italy and the national team. And, you're a kid. I always say, make sure you have dreams, right? Nobody can stop you from dreaming of what you want to be and what you want to do. And back when I was playing indoor soccer, we were just then developing actual indoor soccer facilities. We used to play in a gym. That was kind of our indoor soccer. And I remember being at Commonwealth Stadium and trying out for the under-16 Alberta team. I was a pretty good soccer player. I didn't really know how good I was because there really wasn't knowledge outside of your team and the few teams you played. You really had no idea what was outside of that. And so I tried out for the provincial team, and I did get cut. And it was heartbreaking, but I was, 15, and I thought, if I can't be a professional athlete, what would I like to do instead of that? And I thought, well, if I can't be one, I would love to be a sportscaster, broadcaster, and cover professional athletes. So I always had a love for sports, watching sports. In fact, I remember my dad would always give me heck. All you ever do is watch sports, an old Italian immigrant. That's it, right? That's it.
Go out and play. No, I'm watching them play.
Yeah, but I always had a fascination, an intrigue with the actual announcers of the games. So it seemed to be a great sort of fit for me. And at that point, I'm in high school, and I wanted to, pursue that. So I went to NAIT, which is Northern Alberta Institute of Technology in Edmonton. And I said, let's give it a go. My parents were, I wouldn't say disappointed, but they sort of saw me as going to university and becoming a
I was going to say good Italian parents. Yeah, want our son, doctor, lawyer, accountant, teacher,
something. My dad used to always say,
broadcaster,
was not a fit,
not in there.
They really didn't know anything about it, right? And my dad a couple things he used to always say to me. He'd show me his hands, right? He was a carpenter, and they were full of calluses. And he would say, "I don't want your hands to look like mine."
Right.
And the other thing he would often say to me is, "I want you to have a job where you shower before work,
not after work."
And so that was something that he really wanted.
That's really great.
And when you're young, you don't. I never really got that.
Yeah.
Shower before work.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
What do you mean by that, right?
That's right. Well, when you're 17, you don't shower before work or after.
Afterward.
Yeah.
Maybe
on
once
Thursday
every
night. Yeah, Thursday night or something like that. Yeah.
So they grew to understand it. I mean, going to work in Grande Prairie and Lethbridge, that wasn't something they quite figured on, but it was the road to what I was hoping would be success.
So did you know that was how the road had to go? You had to start in Grande Prairie. And
I think
not that there's anything wrong with I was born in Grande Prairie.
There you go.
Well, I left when we were 2, but I was born in Grande Prairie. So, but did you know?
Starting in those smaller
starting in the small market.
For sure. Yeah. I think I understood that just realizing that is the way that often broadcasters go.
Yeah.
It was certainly something that was told to us. Not ad nauseum, but over and over again, so that kids weren't getting out of school at 20 and thinking, hey, how come Sportsnet's not knocking on my door?
Yeah.
There was no Sportsnet when I got out of school. But, why isn't CBC hiring me to do their Hockey Night in Canada broadcast? So it was a good eye-opener. It doesn't mean you still don't think you can do it.
Sure.
But you understand if you don't, that it's not a failure. It's
so
just
did you
part
know
of your
right
success
from Grande
path.
Prairie on that your dream, you were going to make the big market
Yeah,
someday?
you know what? I had always set Toronto and by the age of 25 as my 2 goals.
Yeah.
Now, I did get to Toronto. But I never got there by 25. I was 28.
Okay.
So it felt
pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. At the time, it felt like not fully achieving my goal, but still achieving a portion of it.
Oh, I think that's fair. There's guys who are probably 48 that didn't make Toronto.
Exactly.
So I appreciate it more now than then.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, I still was happy about it. It just wasn't quite on my timeline.
Yeah.
But it was really a huge opportunity for both myself and Karen. Karen went from a dental assistant to a dental hygienist back then.
Right.
She went to school. And it really, I understand the center of the universe talk for Toronto. I get that people discuss that. But when you put it on a resume...
A little delusional.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when you put it on a resume, it's a big deal.
It really helped me come back to Edmonton and start hosting the Oilers back then on A Channel back in 1998.
Okay, but we need to... Because we have had your wife on the podcast.
Yes, we have to talk about this.
We need to talk about it.
Because we heard the version of how you met.
Yeah.
And we heard Karen's version.
That's it. We heard Karen's version of this.
So,
which
Gene,
I think's pretty accurate. So,
well, this is how I remember it.
Okay, here we go.
Probably similar. I remember I had a cousin. She's still in Winnipeg, and her then fiance and I went to the bar next to her condo. And I saw Karen, and she was DJing. I'm like, oh my God, look at her! I was honestly, when you say
did we know she was DJing?
Yeah, remember she was DJing.
Yeah.
That's right.
She was kind of like her sideline gig.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And so I was like, and he's like, you should go talk to her. And I'm like, I should. And so I ended up, I requested a song, and I barely knew her for 5 minutes, and I asked her out. And she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, but no." And I'm like,
"Yeah, that was the story.
Yeah,
turned him down just like that." Yeah.
And
did she not know who you were?
Yeah, no. Apparently, and that was not music to my ears, even though she was DJing. And then about 6 months later, the same cousin and her fiance in Manitoba, they have what are called socials, which are basically a big wedding hall party.
Right.
The premise being you're raising some money for this new couple to get their lives started. And he comes over to me and goes, "You'll never guess who's here." I'm like, "Who?" He goes, "Remember that girl from Grapes, which was the name of the bar? Sour Grapes was me that night." And I'm like, "Of course I remember." He goes, "She's here." And I'm like, "Oh, wow." So she was sitting by her brother, who's a behemoth. He's like 6'4", and her brother Paul actually he was only 18 back then, but he looked older. So they were 6-7 years, or they are 6-7 years apart. So I thought it didn't look like someone who was a lot younger. So I waited till he left, and I went and sat beside her.
I love that. I waited till he left.
He's a big dude, and I thought I don't want to get him upset. And I just said, "Do you remember me?" She said, "No, I don't." And then I kind of reminded her, and it came back a little bit, and we had a great chat, and I just asked for her number and said I'll give you a call. And I remember afterwards, my cousin's fiance, not Karen, she didn't come with us, but a bunch of us went back to his parents' place, and I told the guys that I got her phone number, and they thought I was like a hero. They're like, "Oh my God, you got her number! That's great." And I called her Tuesday, I think, and we went out.
So you got her phone. What day did you get her phone number?
Saturday.
And you waited till Tuesday?
I waited.
Smart.
Couple of days.
It's the good move, Gene. You don't want to call right away.
Right away, yeah.
Oh, that's not cool.
I already got shut down once, so let's play it a bit cool. And I remember we went out after one evening that she worked.
Yeah.
And, along the way, any relationship has its ups and downs. We were separated by distance for quite a while when I went to Toronto.
That's hard. That's hard.
But 28 years of marriage later and being together since, March of 93, which is 32 years plus later.
Wow.
It's all worked out.
Well, I have to say, the stories sink.
Yeah.
They sink.
They align.
We've had stories that didn't always sink,
to
be honest. He'll sit there and go, I don't remember it that way. And she'll go, yes, it was. So this is good. This is good. This is good. So rejected the first time, but the second time round.
I will say this, and I say it to my son and I guess my daughter. I never had an issue with being turned away or turned down.
Yeah.
It never
affected
my confidence or just was, not the right person or they didn't like me or they didn't find me good. Whatever it was, it never...
It wasn't meant to be.
No, it wasn't meant to be.
If you're holding out hope that the first and only person you asked to go out or to marry you is going to be...
Right.
So, I got
lots of stories. Anyway, that's another podcast, but we get into that another time. But all right, so you got married.
Yeah.
How many children do you have?
We have three. All in their early to now mid-20s, 22, 24, 26.
You look too young. You should still have kids.
They both look too young.
Kids in high school.
Listen,
I
not this campaign as much, but certainly last campaign, I got a lot of, is it your cousin? Is it your daughter? I'm like, okay, do I look that old that that would be my daughter?
She's very offended.
What was the state of your hair with those comments? Because for those who don't know, what Gene is famous for is one of the things, about many, is his amazing hairdos. That you let your hair grow quite often.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, last time was 19 months that I let it grow, and then I cut it during the second round of the playoffs versus Vegas. Previous to that, I had let it grow a couple of years, and we raised money.
Can I just say, at that time it would have been my 89-year-old mother. She would watch hockey. She would watch the games. And she would phone me and go, "When will Gene cut his hair?" And I don't even know the guy. Don't be asking me. I don't know.
Well, I'll say this: going to door knocking for Karen in her attempt to be reelected. If short hair were on the ballot versus long hair, landslide win. Everyone's like, your hair looks better short.
That's actually probably a good question for the ballot. Is short or long hair for Gene? I think that's a good referendum right there. Better than some of the others we have. No offense, Karen, but that's a good referendum right there.
But you know what? Let's dive into that a little bit. The whole city councilor run. Tell us what it was like the first time when Karen said, "Hey, I want to run for city council."
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't fully shocked. I think Karen has put with my job, career, young kids. She worked, of course, as a hygienist assistant. Well, hygienist since we got married. But she put any other further aspirations that would put a strain on the family way in the background. And then when the kids got a little bit older, she always was someone who wanted to help not just one person or one group of people, but as many people as possible with her volunteer work. She said, "I'd like to be in politics." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, so how do we go about doing this?" So it was a real learning curve.
What was it that? Was it just that? Okay. Are you a political person?
I never was.
Never followed politics?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know the city councilor in our area before Karen ran. I was never one, I don't blame people for being upset about things that they're not happy about, but I either wasn't upset or didn't care enough to follow through. Your property tax is your property tax, the roadway is the road. I just kind of was in
Go
my
with the
sports
flow.
world.
Yeah, it just happened, yeah.
And that's it. So I didn't even know who our city councilor was.
Right.
And I'm not talking about 25-year-old me. I mean, I would have been 50 and I didn't know who our councilor was. So not something to brag about,
I'm
but
not
it
going to
was a
say
fact.
typical male, but it's kind of, I think, it is, right? I was the same way.
Yeah, I just
don't
didn't know. I
don't
didn't
know.
know.
I don't know.
Yeah, so
it's
it
a little
was
different
like,
now, but
yeah,
I didn't know.
maybe now, even
Yeah.
if Karen weren't in politics, I might know
Yeah.
just because the landscape of politics
It's
certainly has
changed.
shifted
Certainly
and
has
changed.
changed, yes.
But I was like, okay, what can I do for you? And I
Yeah.
think being, as my buddies would call me, a D-list Northside celebrity.
Yeah.
I think
That's fantastic.
going to doors and helping support
Yeah.
her is I feel the most, and doing whatever is sort of needed.
Sure.
But I think when it comes to face, that's the best thing I hope that I can do for her.
So
in
we
her
were talking
campaign.
about this yesterday, Jennifer and I, and we were just kind of chatting, and that is the question we had. What's it like when you're campaigning for Karen and you ring a doorbell
Yeah.
here in Edmonton and the door opens
And there's Jean Principe
and
standing
there's
there.
Jean Principe?
Well, it's various reactions, and I want to clarify that I'm like anyone who wants to support Karen.
Yeah.
She doesn't win because I'm her husband and I'm on TV. She
Right.
wins because of what?
Because she's a great counselor.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
She
exactly.
is a great counselor.
Because I'll tell you this
She
much.
has to win this election. I'm just saying that this is not a political podcast.
But we'll say,
but
vote
we're going to say
Karen
it.
Principe.
Vote
Well,
Karen
thank you.
Principe.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are others we would say
Don't vote them.
we won't mention them by name because we're new. We don't have lawyers yet. But we're just saying
Yeah.
Vote Karen.
Principe.
Well, thank you.
That's
I
right.
agree with you. And as much as people may or may not like me or may not recognize me, they vote because they think Karen
Sure.
can do the job and do it properly and do it to the best of
Yeah.
the constituents in our area. But reactions at the door are really varied. Some people get it right away. Now, when I go door knock, it's shorts, sometimes cut off shirts, glasses. I mean, I'm far from being in my traditional outfit for work.
Are you
so,
hurt when they go, "Who are you?"
I'm okay too when they don't recognize
Right,
me.
yeah,
Sometimes we'll get reaction after. Sometimes it's during the conversation. Oftentimes, I don't say I'm Jean Principe.
Yeah.
I'll say I'm Jean, Karen's husband. This is my wife, Karen Principe. And then if they put Jean
Two and two
Principe
together, sure.
then
Yeah.
they do. But I don't start
put it
with
out
my
there.
name
Yeah. No,
because I'm not there for me. I'm
Sure,
there for
there for
her.
her.
And so I leave it up to them. One of the more interesting things is when people say, "Oh man, do you ever look like the guy from TV?"
Yeah,
And,
that's gotta be great.
I'll
eh?
get that.
Do you ever play
and
along with that? Yeah, we kind of do.
Yeah, I do a little bit.
Yeah.
I do a little bit, but Karen has
I
been.
would.
Karen's like, don't string people.
Oh,
along too
I would totally. I would just take them down the garden path.
Yeah, so she's like,
Yeah,
let them know
yeah,
who
I
you
do
are.
parties. If you need to hire me
Yeah.
out for like $50, I'll come.
I'm an impersonator.
I'm an impersonator. Yeah, I
So
would do
the
it.
reactions are varied, and you know what I really love about sports? I'm not kidding. From 5 to 85,
Yeah.
it's little
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
high school students, it's university men and women, it's lawyers, doctors, janitors, plumbers, people who work, people who are retired, people who are into their golden
Yeah.
year. I
Yeah.
mean, it is everyone and everywhere.
Yes.
People. Oh, my 90-year-old
Yeah,
grandmother.
that's true.
My,
I didn't know, yeah.
and I love that.
Yeah.
I think in theory you would think it's males 25 to
No.
55, or I'm just picking
I
a number,
love
but it
watching
is
hockey
not.
with seniors because they yell at the TV.
Yes.
Like, I know younger people do too, but my mom would scream at the TV. She would give McDavid what for. Like,
Yes.
she would just like, and I'd be there. He can't hear you. No, he'll know. He'll know. I'd be like, so yeah.
Well, I get a lot of advice. People think I'm the GM.
That's
Yes.
right.
You have
Could
to
you
tell
please
them.
tell Connor
Yes.
to? I don't like. He's not passing very well.
Yeah, I get
right
lots
now.
of.
Yeah.
He should
people
shoot
will.
more.
Yeah, that probably is the
Okay.
big. Connor should shoot more. Gene, can you deal with
I
that?
get so
'Cause,
many
like,
questions about the Oilers. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's straight Oilers. Sometimes there are a little bit of politics, and then they go, "Okay, let's talk about the Oilers."
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
I think sometimes people feel like they should ask some political stuff before we get to the Oilers, And so I'm more than happy. I
Question or two.
So Karen gives you the debrief beforehand and fills you in. And
I've learned a lot by going to doors.
Oh, I bet.
People know more and more about what's going on in the city, and certainly in the area that we live in.
I just think it's so cool. You guys are such a great team. Like, you really are.
Yeah,
like,
that's what we are.
It just kind of hit me. I was sitting here thinking, this is a great team.
They're a power couple, Cam.
They are.
They are.
You've been on the covers of magazines. I've seen that.
No shirt on.
That was.
You know what I will say?
That was a bit risque. I saw that in a restaurant waiting for my takeout.
Were you able to eat?
And I looked and I went, whoa. Am I old enough to read this? I didn't know if I could open that. But
it gave me more street cred than you can imagine. I had more players come to me, including McDavid. He came to me, goes, so I think the way it worked at that time was maybe, once the players get going, they're really focused. But I think wives and girlfriends may have seen the Edify magazine and saw it and then said, hey, you should see who's on there. And honestly, I had players stopping me going, when did you do that? Whose idea was it? McDavid was one of them.
Whose idea was that? That's great.
So it was a lot of fun, and I think that, I think that they see me with first of all, with a shirt on, suit and tie, asking hockey-related questions, and then to see myself and my wife, there's a human behind.
I was going to say the human side of you. Yeah, of course. Although I'm not sure shirtless on a magazine cover, but we should find that magazine cover and put that up. We won't do that. I promise.
We have one if you want.
Yeah,
more than one actually.
You guys can probably a box in the basement, right? Yeah.
Well, it's funny because we have 2 sons and a daughter, and I said to Karen,
I said,
don't worry, because she's like, we should tell them. I go, don't, they're not going to see it or even hear about it. Of course, they heard about it. Our 2 sons were kind of like, our daughter was pretty surprised, and I wouldn't say upset, but kind of like, why didn't you tell me? And now my friends are kind of bugging me about it, or
I can nicely. I know what my daughter. With this body, my daughter would be. Why the heck did you ever do that? But anyways, I can only imagine how that would go.
So there was a bit of a. My kids have always said since they were old enough, they always would say, "Summer doesn't start till Dad takes his shirt off." I take my shirt off all the time. I've never been one. Just going
for the
back
record,
to confidence.
it is 100 degrees, but he is sitting here with his shirt on. We just want everyone to know.
If we were outside,
if we were outside doing the podcast, he'd be tanning. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is pretty cool. So we're getting to know some of the inside. This is really awesome. So Karen's involved in city council. You're on the road. How does this has got to be a unique. How do you make this all work? Especially during hockey season.
Yeah, you know what? Having older kids helps, but even older kids, when they live at home, they're there, right?
Yes.
And so there's a certain. Well, they're used to when Karen was a dental hygienist. She would work, let's say, 7 to 3, and when you clocked out, you were done.
Yes.
There wasn't anything. There were no emails. Very few phone calls. Once in a while. But work was finished. Where now work seems never
all the
finished,
time, right? As a
and I'll joke with her sometimes. It'd be 10:30, 11 at night. She'll be in her laptop or responding to texts or working, and I'll say, "Hey, go to bed. The city will still be there in the morning, right? And you can continue whatever it is that you're doing."
But I go to a number of events, job related, and often I'll see Karen there. And
I never knew how busy city councilors were. It is. And so I have a lot of respect for people that run.
Right.
And I have a lot of respect for people that run and win because it is a sacrifice that you cannot explain to anybody.
It's a full-time job plus.
I would agree. And I never thought that, and I would have never thought that you would get invited. Like, I would often say to her, man, you go to everything. And she goes, and I'm not going to everything because I can't go to everything. So there are things that I have to say no to.
And then you're on, you're on the road, all the time.
Yeah, I would say, between regular season and playoffs, I would say I'm away 3 months of the year.
Wow.
It's a lot. It's separated, of course, between road trips and.
Sure.
I remember when the kids were young, particularly my daughter, and the Oilers weren't in the playoffs.
Right.
She'd say, "Who do we cheer for?" And I'd say, "Well, whoever wins the first game."
Yes.
And then, well, who do we cheer for? Whoever leads the series, right? you want to get home if it's two teams that you don't have a real emotional investment or a tie to.
Right.
You
it's
like
a grind,
to be home.
Right?
Yeah. You like.
So this isn't any kind of marriage therapy podcasting. We don't even go down that road. But just tell us about how you make that. You're gone a lot. Karen is gone a lot. How do you how do you be intentional to make that? And again, we're not looking for marriage therapy.
Should I be lying down here?
No. I just think this is
Dr.
fascinating.
Camp.
Yeah, Dr. Camp. Dr. Camp. No. How you know where I'm going with that? Like,
I know where you're going. I think we just do it.
Yeah.
There's no set pattern or theme. Certainly communicating, even though she says I don't do it very well. Didn't I tell you that? No.
It's just a man thing.
We're just like, I'm sorry.
As the two women sit here nodding, going, that never, and we're sitting here going, well.
Yeah, and I think support each other. Oftentimes when I'm door knocking for Karen, people will be, amazed might be strong, but like, I can't believe you're at the door. And I would say, well, you wouldn't believe what Karen has done for me and our family, right?
Yeah.
She left Winnipeg. She left all of her family behind, which is not easy. Moved to Toronto, then moved to Edmonton, where my family has been and continues to be. So she made a lot of sacrifices for us. So for me to go to a door and knock on it and say, hey, would you consider voting for my wife? So we just do it, It just sort of works. And summers we have a lot of time to catch up. And during the winter, it's a lot of sometimes passing each other by. Hey, I'm headed on. Oh, you're going on the road tomorrow. Oh, how long are you gone for? Oh, 10 days. Oh, okay. All right. We'll see you in 10 days.
Well, I think just watching and listening, you guys are great role models. You really are. And again, like you said, Gene, nothing's perfect, but you guys are great role models, and I think that's just amazing, and it's really cool how you make that work and make it work so well.
Well, I think that's one of the things, first off, circling, when you talk about role models, I think that's something, I used to just do my job, and I never really thought about what other impact you can have on people. And I a couple of years ago when Jay Woodcroft was the coach, and there was a sort of a day in the life of Gene Principe, and it was bought a silent auction item. Anyways, this young boy, who would have been 12, with his father, spent the day with us, and Jay Woodcroft was so kind to them, and Connor, and everybody was just made his day. And at the end of the day, I asked his dad, I said, how did it go? And he said, Morgan said it was the best day of his life.
Wow.
Now, he's only 12, so he's going to have some more great days.
12 you haven't had,
but he'll never forget that.
Right.
And I think that's what Connor has learned from the day he stepped into a pair of skates as an Oiler to where he is now, is that a photo, a handshake, a pat on the back, a smile
can make somebody's...
Yeah, and it's not just Connor, it's Zach Hyman, it's, Ryan Nugent, name your person. And I'm not them, but if people watch you on TV and they have this feeling that you are a bit of a difference in their lives, and shame on me if I don't spend some time with them. And Karen does it too.
I think you are them.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I know they have their position in what they do, but I even telling people you were going to be on this podcast.
People were so excited.
People were like so excited.
Oh, that's nice.
And we're like, well, how did you get them? They were just like all over the map. I can't believe. I'm surprised actually most of them haven't shown up.
I know.
We've told a lot of them to stay away because we didn't want them interrupting us. But I think you are. I think you just are. I know if my mom was with us today and she knew that I was doing this today, she'd go crazy. Yeah. She'd be like, why didn't you invite me?
And the same with my dad.
Yeah, same with your dad, right? Yeah. And so I think that is incredible. Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
You do know where I'm going with this. So talking about being a role model, and I know, Karen, one of the reasons that you decided to run for city council is because you are so actively involved in the community, giving back your time.
Yeah.
So thank you for your service.
Yes.
Not only for volunteering, but for being in municipal politics, because we talked about this before. It's not easy and it's a lot of work. So thank you. We need more people like you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Gene, tell us a little bit about your community involvement, because I know you just ran the Edmonton Marathon.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about
that.
that.
Was that marathon?
Well, so I've run one marathon and one half marathon. For me, running is really an escape. Not that I have a pressure-filled life or career, but
how far is a marathon?
26.2 miles.
20 miles.
Miles, yeah.
Yeah,
42 kilometers.
I don't know
we're
what's
going to be
better.
tired walking back to the office.
Go back to
This
my
is gonna
office,
be,
which is
no.
across the parking lot. But I feel like I've
You
run a
know,
marathon.
listen, I grew up, as I mentioned, I grew up playing soccer, and
Yeah.
there's certainly running involved, but
Yes.
not that kind of running.
Right.
And I never thought of myself as a runner,
Right.
and I'm not sure I am, but I like to do
Sure.
it. And, I was telling my daughter the other day, when I start out training in April for a marathon, I run 2 kilometers, 1 kilometer out, 1 kilometer back.
Right.
That's it. That's what I start. And I'm telling you this,
there's
it's
hope.
not the easiest of runs.
Yes.
And then you go 3.
Yeah.
Then you get to 4, and you just slowly
Build it
work
up.
your way
Yeah,
up. Where I remember when I was training for a marathon, and our longest run was 20 miles. And I ran 10 and 10 back, and I'm like, I never imagined I could or would want to ever do that. But I just really enjoy it. I'm not a music listener when I run. As I say to people, I just listen to my thoughts.
Sure.
And it
So you
takes
just
me
did a
everywhere.
half marathon.
Yeah,
And
I
you
just
did that for...
Sports Central.
Okay, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about Sports Central, because we know that's a really... It's a big deal for you.
Yeah.
We've dug a lot into it. We're actually, next week, we're going to tour.
Oh, awesome.
Sports
You're going to go
Central.
see Jana?
We are going to go see Jana.
Yeah,
Excellent.
and
Well,
we're going to
thank
go
you
see
for that.
Yeah,
Yes, we're
we
very
want to,
excited.
because we've determined. We're going to let the cat out of the bag, and this is a great time with you. Jennifer and I have determined that with this new format of our podcast, because everybody has something they're passionate about, and we want to be passionate about
sports.
Kids and sports.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Kids and sports. That's
Yeah.
what. There's lots of great causes.
Yeah,
lots of great causes.
I agree.
You know that. You're
Yeah.
probably asked to represent a million
Yeah.
of them. But we really felt through our discussions and through circumstances in Jennifer's life and in my life, we want to really support kids in sports.
Kids in sport. It doesn't matter who you are, what your parents do, what your income level is.
Yeah.
You should have access to and
that.
be able to play
Yeah.
sports.
I
And I
couldn't
feel
agree
that
more.
in our world, that's shifted.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think it's time to get back to kids just being able to be active
100%.
and play sports.
I grew up in a single-family home. My father passed away when I was 2. I was the only child. My mom raised me. We didn't have the money. I would have loved to have played more hockey, although at that time I was like 3'4", but I would have loved to have played more hockey, but we wouldn't have been able to afford it. And it seems like sports has gotten so expensive for kids to be involved in. And what you're doing is amazing.
Yeah, I think, up until, I'm not sure how many years ago, I would go to events and help, but I felt like I needed to sort of dedicate myself particularly to one, but also help others.
Yeah.
I will say after 2 long runs into the Stanley Cup final, I didn't block a shot. I didn't take a hit. But there is a small part of me that would love to put the Gone Fishing sign up and just come back in September.
Sure.
But if you do that, you miss a lot of great opportunities to promote the community, to help the community. So I say it once in a while, but I would never do it. And I really don't say no unless I can't physically do something. I'm away. I have a conflict. Sports Central certainly was kids, sports.
Yeah.
That
Tell us
was
about
me.
it. What does Sports Central like?
Yeah, so
we know, but just for our audience.
Just to understand. So it's located near the old arena where the Edmonton Oilers used to play. It was started by Tiger Goldstick, who was a long-time broadcaster in Edmonton.
Yes.
And he literally started out of the trunk of his car.
Wow.
And he would gather equipment.
I didn't know that.
He would go to a local school, a local playground, and if kids didn't, he would open up the trunk and kids could pick up a basketball, a soccer ball. And so now 30 plus years in, it's grown into this community organization that services well over 10,000 kids a year into sport. So kids who need a pair of soccer shoes, hockey equipment. The Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation has been unbelievable supporters.
Big support.
To get so many kids involved in what I think we would believe is probably the most expensive sport, and that's hockey, the equipment being the big thing. But I hear about people having to pay $1,000 to register for a sport, or $800 or $1,500, and
Well,
So
I do know.
Yeah.
your son's in
it's
sports.
incredibly expensive.
It is.
I remember my family was only able to kind of get us through. I mean, if I had a hockey stick, it had to last a year. I would get a pair of soccer shoes, and I would treat them like I wasn't getting another one.
Yes.
Yeah.
My dad
Same
was
with
a
me with
carpenter.
skates. Yeah, skates was-
you didn't want to grow because you didn't want to outgrow
I
those
knew my mom
skates.
couldn't afford another
Yeah.
pair, and so you wore them sometimes when your feet hurt.
Yeah,
till your feet hurt.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So it gets kids active into sports. Some are just individually, or with their family and friends. Some it leads them to be on teams, and teamwork is,
it's huge.
is amazing. And Alphonso Davies, who's become known as certainly one of ours, and plays. We watch a lot of soccer and plays in Germany, and will represent Canada at the World Cup. Alfonso, when he was a kid and came over as a refugee at the age of 5, he didn't have a bike to get to practice, and so he got a bike from Sports Central.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
We had, so people who are listening would know that we had Alphonso Davies, manager, on one of our podcasts. And and it's an amazing story.
Yeah.
Both for the manager, actually, when you listen to his story, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
And for Alfonso,
Yeah.
like it's pretty incredible.
So I'm not saying he wouldn't have become who he is, but I always say if Stuart Skinner doesn't have a pair of gold pads, if Connor McDavid doesn't have a pair of skates, if Leon Draisaitl doesn't have a stick,
they'll never play.
I don't know. Maybe
You don't
maybe
know.
they don't play, or
That's
maybe they
right.
start so late that they don't become who they are. And those are, listen, every kid that walks through the doors of Sports Central, we're not expecting Alfonso or Connor or Leon or Stuart. We're just expecting them to be a champion of our community, whatever that means.
Gene, that's it right there. It is not about them becoming superstars. It's about them being amazing people in society. And
again, I think sports teaches you so many valuable lessons in your life, and from leadership to working together to just being an overall giving back, because so many teams give back to the community too. It's those basic life skills, I think, that everybody in sport can
Absolutely.
learn.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping in the future we get to do a podcast just on this alone and with Sports Central. And just to put it out there, Jennifer and I have talked a lot about it. We're a little fish podcast in a big pond of podcasts, but that's whatever we can do to help spread this word. And you're our role model in this, and we want to follow in that.
Well, we certainly, everyone at Sports Central, the board, and we have so many great employees, but a lot more volunteers that make that place run. And I coach my daughter's soccer team, and I don't always say this because then it starts to be old hat, but I always say to the girls, when you're in the most difficult situations, not just in sports but in life, you got 3 choices. Okay, you can give up, you can give in, or you can give it your all.
Right.
If you give up and give in, you know what the result's going to be.
Wow, fantastic.
But if you give it your all, you never know.
That leads
perfectly into our final question, Gene. I can't believe it. This again.
I know.
We could go on.
I mean, he's got to go, but I could keep him here forever. This is amazing. I got to be on. This is great.
Okay, Gene, this is the final question we ask all of our guests, and we did ask this of your wife, so we'll be interested to hear what yours is.
What was her answer? I maybe.
No, it's not that kind of question.
Okay, all right.
It's not that kind of question.
Gene, what is the best piece of advice you've been given, either personally or professionally, that you still carry with you to this day?
Well, when I was young and I was starting out my broadcast career, my goal was to talk for a living. Right? That's what we do. But I heard once one of my instructors in NAIT said to me, because I think as a young kid sometimes you're more in tune to talking to people and not listening to people. But he would always say, listen and learn. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. And I know that adage is incredibly well worn, well used. But I have learned so much by listening to other people over, the decades now of my life. And that's, again, I think one of the things, when I initially started in sports, it was about the sport, the result, the athletic achievement, endeavor, challenge. But as I've grown older, I've come to realize that so many things that happen in sports are life lessons. Learning to work with people, play with people you like, you don't like. Understanding that when you go to work, you're going to, chances are, be on some kind of team.
Yep.
And you got to learn how to get along. And one thing
great.
I always
Fantastic.
I always tell my daughter's team, I understand, and I see that with the Oilers. Not everybody's best friends. I said, but you don't have to be somene's best friend to be a great teammate.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I always push that.
That right there is gold. That is gold. Wow. I mean, well, I can tell you right now, this 53 minutes has been incredible. Like, it's exactly that. You learn. Just listening, I have learned. Like, this is unbelievable.
Gene, we can't thank you enough for being on this podcast with us today.
Thank you so much for taking the time. We get to watch you all the time, and that's great. But today, for me, has been, I want to watch you more there, but I would love to sit and have more of these conversations.
Well, you know what? Despite the title Coffee in the Park, talking to you two was certainly not a grind.
And there it is.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
End.
Well, thanks everybody for listening. Hey, don't forget, everybody, we're brought to you by Wing Snob. 19 flavors. We're brought to you by Wing Snob.
Go to wingsnob.ca.
I got the brochure right here. I could read them to you,
No,
but I won't
we're
do that
not.
because that takes a lot of time.
That's right.
Anyway, www.wingsnob.ca and Mprint. Best printers around.
That's right, mprint.ca.
www.mprint.ca. Thanks everybody for listening. Hey, make sure you tell everybody about the podcast. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell your enemies. If you don't have a friend, make a friend just so you can tell them about the podcast. Actually, that's a really good thing to do. If you don't know somebody, just go, hey, have you ever listened to Coffee in the Park podcast? And before you know it, you'll be drinking coffee
All
and having
kinds
a
of
great
friends.
time. Yeah.
And Cam, subscribe.
Subscribe. And we have a brand new website.
We do.
Man, is it good. It is www.coffeeinthepark.com.
No, yes.
.ca.
No,
.com. How can you tell this is our inaugural? Like this is opening a restaurant and not having the food cooked. Like, this is unbelievable. Gene saved us today. There's no doubt about that. www.coffeeinthepark.com. It's a great website. There's a bunch of pictures of me and Jen, and she makes it look great. I just am there to fill in.
But they can listen to the podcast directly from the website
That's right.
as well.
Wherever you get your podcast, you can listen to us, or you can go to www.coffeeinthepark.com and you can listen to us off there.
That's right.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Gene. Thank you, Karen.
Welcome.
I'm so glad. Our next
is about wine sommelier. She's going to come tell us about wine.
We tell that story so much.
Yes. Next.
Anyway, the wine you recommended that day was perfect. Anyway, thanks everybody. Have a good
everyone.
one.